Okay, so I'm going to show you how to create a plaster paper mask. You want to make sure that you have quite a few strips already cut up. Do not set them by your mask too close because you don't want to get them wet. And when you do pick them up, make sure that you pick them up with just 2 fingers out of your stack of strips. So if you have your strips laying, for instance, over to the side like this, just pick them up with 2 fingers because you don't want to get any of your strips wet. As soon as the water hits the strips, they start to activate and they start to harden. And it's hard to put the strips down and get them smoothed out properly if you have some that are already starting to harden. So make sure that they're kind of out of the way. You don't want to get them wet, okay? Now, you're going to first of all, you will take a strip and you will put it in the water. Let me move this over just a little bit. Put it in the water like that. And then take your finger and kind of take out the water a little bit. And then you will start crossways. Now, the reason I say crossways like this, so you're going to lay it down like this. And the reason is that when this way, they are stronger. If you line them all up in a line, then they could break easily. But if you have some going across and then some going this way and then some going horizontal and vertically, if you have them going all different directions, then it does help. And you want to put I would say at least 2 different layers, maybe 3. Okay, and you want to put it down. You want to rub to get all the plaster inside. You don't want to see any little holes, okay? Now, this is a little bit blurry, I know, but you can still see what I'm doing here. Then dip it again, hold it up and take some of the water out. So the way I'm doing this is like this, and try not to fold it. You don't want to get it folded, and then lay it crisscross in this direction. So crisscross applesauce. Go ahead and smooth it out. Make sure you get all the little dots taken out. You don't want any little dots in there. Take another piece. And then, now this time, I'm going to lay it across. This way, across the nose. I'm only doing 1 layer at a time. Do not try to do 2 layers in one section at a time. You want to do the whole mask first in 1 layer. And make sure that you get all those little marks out. Okay. And then I will go down and do it again. I'm going to take some little ones. There we go. Now I'm going to do this one, crisscross applesauce. Take another one. So that's kind of what you do. There we go. And try to get it as smooth as you can, okay? Do not leave any wrinkles in there, because if you leave any wrinkles, then those wrinkles will stay there. Okay? So you want everything smooth. And then I'll start laying around the outside here because I don't have anything on there yet. Around here. And you do want to make sure that you have your mask going all the way down here. Okay. You want it to kind of come up a little bit right here, because if you don't, then you might have some openings right there. So don't be afraid to leave a little bit that does come on here. Don't be afraid of that because you can always trim it off. But if you can, you can just push it up as far as you can and then smooth it out. And then go ahead and lay your next ones. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up and I'll come back when I'm finished. Okay, so pretty much I finished putting all the plaster paper down on my mask and it is still wet. And I put 2 to 3 layers to make sure that I had enough layers. I held it up to the light and looked through it. And if I seen any light coming through any of the section on the mask, I just put more plaster paper on it. You don't want to put any more than 2 or 3 layers because then it becomes too heavy. So I'm going to show you how to start adding some embellishments like facial features and so forth. And there's 2 different ways. The first way that I'm going to do it is I will do it with it wet and show you how to just layer on some more plaster paper. And then the second part will be using some instant paper mache after it has dried overnight. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to use the plaster paper in order to perhaps make some alien eyes. So you do want to make sure that you do have your strips already pre-cut while your hands are still dry. And remember not to put them too close to the water. You don't want to get them wet. But just take a piece, put it in the water, and then just kind of twist it up and lay it on there. So, and you want to just smash it down and smooth it out and shape it to wherever you want to shape it. And make sure you use about the same length of strips on both sides so that they come out even. Remember, after you get it down, just shape it the way you want it, smooth it out and so forth, and do this on both eyes. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up and then I'll show you the end result. Okay, so now I finished putting this part on. But now to make the eyes look more alien, I'm going to fill the inside a little bit. Make sure that you have the same amount of paper put in both sides so it evens out. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it wet and then kind of smush it together. So it's kind of like a ball, but just kind of smush it and then put it down. And I want to have more in the center of the eye than around the edges. So I'm going to push most of that in like that and just smooth the edges around. And then smooth it all out. So this way it looks more like an alien's eye. And then I would do the same on the other side. Okay, so see how I did that? And then I'll go ahead and do the same on the other side. Okay. Just get it wet, crumple it up a little bit, stick it in there. Put more in the center than the outside of the eye, the outside edge. Just like this. And then just smooth it out. I think I'll probably add a little bit more than what I've got here. So I'm going to speed this up and I'll let you see it when I'm finished, okay? Okay, and I will keep adding a little bit of water as I'm smoothing things out. And just keep working with it. And this is how you use plaster paper to add other features to your face and build on it. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now I have another mask here, and it is dried overnight. And I'm going to show you how you can use instant paper mache to build up the features of your mask instead of using the wet paper plaster. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I have some of the instant paper mache here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding some water until it becomes the consistency that I want to work with. So you want to add a little bit at a time and then just start mixing it together. Squeeze it as you mix it. And this might take a little while, but just go ahead and continue doing that. And then if it's too dry, then you can also go ahead and add more water. But just keep doing this until it becomes the form of clay. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep mixing, and I'll come back and show you what I have, okay? Okay, so I have mixed enough water to where I can take my clay, and it's almost like a dough. Oops. So you want to make sure that it's like a dough, and you can pick it up. That out of the way. And it should be like dough or like clay. And you don't want it too dry. So see how it's kind of sticky on my hand? See here, listen to it. That's how it should be. Okay. Now if you want to spread it like a paste onto your mask, you can do that too. You just add a little more water to it. But I kind of like to do it like this. And sometimes I do like to do it like a paste, but this is my go-to. Okay, so now this is quite a bit that I have. I made quite a bit. You won't need as much, okay? So because you're not going to put it on real thick, because the thicker that you put it on, the longer it's going to take to dry. Okay, so let's go ahead and start adding it to the mask. Okay, so I have my mask and I have my paper mache there. I'm going to take a little piece off and I'm going to decide what I want to do. Then I'm going to make a couple of antennas here, and I don't want to make them real big. So I will just start layering it on. And so I think I'll put this one right here. Now what you'll want to do is you want to also have a container of water sitting by, because you will need to use some water. So just start putting it on, smash it down just like you did, just like I showed you with the plaster paper when you were putting on your features. And since the paper mache mask is dry, it will soak up the water from the paper mache very quickly. So you want to continuously add water as you're putting it on, just like as if it were clay. And then I would put more around the base of where you're attaching your feature, just to make it stronger. Just make sure that when you're doing this, that you are smoothing this out so that it blends nicely in with the mask. And you can even add more water to make it smooth, like that. And remember too, this doesn't dry out real quick. It doesn't dry real quick, so it's very forgiving. You can always take it off, put new stuff on, just work with it however you want to. And this will take a little while to dry, and that's why we're doing it now, so that when we come back, this will be dry after we come back. So, put a little bit more on the base there. And then use the water to smooth it out. Okay, now I do want it to be thinner than that, so what I'm going to do is just thin it out. And then, there we go. Now you can also use paper mache as a paste, so that if you want to use it like a paste to attach things to, you can also do that too. And then you can just go over it, smooth it out. Okay, there I have one antenna, and I'm going to add another one. So use about the same amount that you used. And I'll put it about right there. And then put a base on it. Use some water to smooth it out. Put some on the back too. Again, add water. Now when you're making your clay or your mache clay, well, make sure that you get all the lumps out, okay? So you want to mix it thoroughly to get all the lumps out. And then I can move it down if I need to, or I want to. If I need to add a little bit more, I think I'm going to add a little bit more at the top. And like I said, you don't need very much of this. Just a little bit. Okay. So, and if it's not positioned right, you can always position it more. Put it wherever you want to, because this paper mache is very forgiving. Okay. Then I will use my paper mache clay to go ahead and add the other features, like the eyes and so forth. And I'll speed this up and come back and show you when I'm almost done with it. Okay, I'm not gonna finish this because I don't want to make this video too long, but as you can see, you can use this paper mache clay to build up the features on your face. So just put it where you want to, do what you want, and it does take a few days to dry. Just keep that in mind, don't make it too thick, and make sure that you smooth that out a lot more than I've smoothed this out here, okay?